everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little bit interesting. I'm actually going to be designing some labels that I'm going to be putting on my homemade apple cider. Now, I'm not selling this cider or anything. This is just like personal use. Like, I just wanted to make some cute labels to put on the bottles because I've been experimenting with home brewing lately and making some nice drinks. We wanted to be able to distinguish which bottles had which, so I just came up with the idea of drawing some cute labels that we could stick onto the bottles. So anyways, the label I'm designing today is, it's called Hurricane Honey, and now the apple cider that we made is a apple cider with honey, obviously, and it's actually pretty nice, and I'm actually pretty happy with the way that it turned out. And my idea for this was to draw like a hurricane or a twister made out of bees. I just thought it would look really cool, and yeah, it fits well with the name. Now, I can't take full credit for this because my partner Jessie actually named it Hurricane Honey, and I just think that is such a cool name to name a drink. But anyways, I felt like I wanted to do these labels traditionally just because it would look really cute having like a hand-drawn label on the bottle. And I'm going to be printing these out later. I'm obviously not putting the original onto the bottle because that would be a little bit difficult with the sort of thick mixed media paper I'm using, and also a waste of the original artwork. So the size of this artwork, I actually got an A4 piece of mixed media paper and I cut it in half lengthways, and I felt like this was a nice sort of size and shape to do my original artwork on. And I'm just sketching it out now with some pencil, and you can see I did the text. I think it came out really nice and cute. And I'm actually going to be doing this using my markers because that's what I felt like doing today. And yeah, let's just get into the details. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of honeycomb, like hexagonal shapes in the foreground and just near the corners and stuff like that. And I decided to draw some sort of dripping honey because that's just really fun to draw, and actually reminds me of a painting I did a little while ago. Now that I was actually drawing it, I was thinking back on that artwork, and yeah, it was just sort of fun to revisit the same kind of like drawing or style, I guess. Now I'm going in with the honeybees and I'm just going in with some fine liners here to draw in the honeybees. I used a slightly thick one for the body, and then I picked like a 0.1, like a pretty fine one for the wings because I wanted them to look thin. After this, I drew some little dots around the bees as well to just like make it look like it's bees in the distance swarming around as well. And once I got that sketch and some of the line art done, I went in with my markers to do some colouring. And I also forgot to mention, as you can see, there are some apples in this piece as well because it is an apple cider, it's not a mead. So I wanted to put some apples in there just because I felt like it would look cute among the bees. And I even had a few bees carrying some apples, as you can see. It'll like make more sense once I actually colour in the apples and like, you know, refine the details a little bit. You'll be able to see the bees carrying them, and I just thought that that was really like a cute idea. So now that I've coloured in all of the honey drips, I'm going to go into the background just with a lightest yellow that I have, or one of the lightest yellows that I have, and just fill that in with a nice light yellow to you know, emphasize that honey color. And then I'm going in now, as you can see, and I've added in some swirls and darker yellows into the bee tornadoes or bee hurricanes or whatever you want to call it, and I think it's actually turning out really cool. And now I'm going to go in and shade in some of that honeycomb with a darker sort of like orangey kind of brown color, because I feel like this piece needs a little bit more shadow in it, and I want to make that honey in the honeycomb look like it's really nice and rich and you know, flavorful like the cider that I'm making. Now after this, I'm also going to add in some shading to the honey drips as well because I want them to stand out a bit more as well, and they just feel a little bit like flat, if that makes sense. So once I start adding more contrast to areas, that's when you realize that other areas in the artwork needs contrast as well. And I really enjoy coloring in like honey or like drippy kind of, you know, colors like slime and stuff. I just feel like once you add in that shadow and blend it a little bit, it is really fun to get like a 3D look on it. And especially once you add in like highlights and stuff like that, it can be pretty satisfying to draw. Now looking back on this artwork, I kind of wish I accentuated the apples a little bit more, because I feel like it's the main attraction of the artwork is like honey and bees, so it feels like it does look more like a mead label, if that makes sense. Mead is like a wine made with honey, by the way. But honestly, I really like it, and you know, just like inspired by the name Hurricane Honey, I think it fits pretty well, and also my partner is very happy with the artwork as well. So now I'm going to go in to the apples now, and I'm going to add in a nice bright red to just add in some extra color there, because I feel like there's a lot of yellows and browns. It's pretty much all yellow and brown and black, and we want a bit more color because I love to add lots of color in my artworks. I love playing with color, and I love just like looking at colorful, pretty things. So I'm just going in with my markers to do the red and the. And now I'm actually going to be switching over to pencil for the rest of this artwork, because I want to add a bit of pencil texture and just some lines and stuff and make it look nice and hand drawn. So I'm going in with the apples here, and as you can see, I'm just adding a little bit of detail and outline around the leaves, and with some dark red and black, just a little bit on the apples themselves. And now I'm getting a black pencil, and I'm just adding some swirly patterns around those tornadoes to make them look nice and dramatic, and also it adds a little bit of a stripy essence that fits well with the whole bee theme. And yeah, I had a lot of fun just doing like the soft pencil lines, and you can see that a fair bit more texture has been added, and that's a lot of fun. And I'm also going to be adding a bit more line work to the honeycomb as well, and I'm actually using the same dark red for that because I felt like it fit pretty well with the colors, and it just adds a little bit more red into the piece. Now I'm going back over those little bee twisters or tornadoes or hurricanes or whatever you want to call them, and I'm just adding in some light brown and yellow swirls as well, and I'm also adding in more little dots just with the markers to add in more hint to the busy bee kind of texture. Next, I'm refining the honey drips as well with the pencils, and this part is just so fun. I love adding in the shading and stuff. And now this artwork is complete, I'm going to be making the labels. Now I just printed it out on some plain printer paper because these are sort of test labels. I haven't properly found a perfect way to make these yet, so I've just added the printout onto a little bit of clear contact, and then I cut around the edges so that there was a sticky part around the edge, and now I'm sticking them down onto the bottles. Now this wasn't completely perfect. There were a few creases in the contact, but with a bit of practice I think that these are going to turn out really nicely. And here is the results of them on the bottles of the cider that I made, and honestly they just look so cute. And they definitely looks homemade, but this is homemade cider, so I think that fits pretty well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit of a different one, but the same as well, because I was using markers and making a pretty artwork. And I'm actually planning on making more labels in the future too for my other concoctions that I've created. Pretty nice drinks, and look forward to those, and hope you're having a lovely day. Please stay safe out there, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.